Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well so far with your weekend. Rookie minicamp kicked off yesterday for the Seahawks, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we learned. And some of this stuff is going to be more conjecture, some of it's going to be more speculation, but there is some stuff we learned yesterday, and I think it's worth talking about, going over and trying to get an idea of where this team sits going into the on-field work part of the offseason, I guess you could call it. Because soon we're going to be having OTAs, then we're going to have mandatory minicamp, and then full-on training camp. First, though, real quick, I just want to let people know. Later today, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to review the situation. I'm going to have to look at things. I'm going to have to be informed of a few things. I might be doing something a little special here on the YouTubes. I don't know yet, but it's possible that I will be doing something a little bit outside the typical later today. So just keep an eye out for it. I'm not going to say anything more than that. If you want to know what it is, then just keep an eye out. Should be, if anything happens, and it's possible nothing happens, probably be sometime in the afternoon, around 4 o'clock if I had to guess, Pacific. Just keep an eye out. We'll see. Okay. So, that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about what we learned yesterday from the first day of rookie minicamp. By the time you're watching this video, day 2 is probably already underway. But here are some of the highlights from day 1. First of all, both of our first-round picks were held out of team drills because they are still recovering from hamstring issues. Now, it was made very clear that it's nothing severe, nothing hugely significant, nothing truly concerning, and that makes sense because Witherspoon did run a 40 time at one of his private workouts, and he had that private workout, so obviously he can't be that hurt. And Smith Najigba, it was specified that the concern with Smith Najigba was the hamstring injury that kept him out for a lot of last year. It was related to that. He did on the field work at the combine. So clearly they're not that beat up, but they want to play it very carefully with them. I mean, it's not like those two guys need the reps to make the team, so sure, it makes sense. But hamstrings, I will say this, hamstrings, you never know. You never know. They can linger on much longer or sometimes not nearly as long as you initially assume. So worth monitoring, but neither Witherspoon or Smith Najigba did that much on-field work yesterday. Okay. One thing that was pointed out by a couple of different people who were present at the rookie minicamp was Mike Morris coming in at about 295 pounds. Now, we already knew this. It had already been said that he had bulked up to about 295 after the combine. He slimmed down for the combine. And then the Seahawks coaching staff specifically told him they wanted him to come in at a heavier weight, about 295. So at that weight, at that physical presence, that's pretty much exactly what you want in a 3-4 end. And I think it was Brady Henderson referred to him specifically as a 3-4 end. So until further notice, I believe that is what we are sticking to. I believe that we are going to have Mike Morris play 3-4 defensive end, and I believe we are, not all the time, of course, not all the time, but a pretty good chunk of the time going to be running our 3-4 defense this year. And I do, for the record, really think Mike Morris is going to help with that, and I think he's going to be very good in that. Brady Henderson also chimed in with the following. The other 8 draft picks we made, so everybody after Witherspoon and Jackson Smith, were unlimited in practice. They're healthy, they're 100% ready to go, no problems. So everybody else looks completely ready to go at this point. Obviously, there's a lot of time between now and the start of the season. That's good. Carroll also specified that Mario Edwards will sign his contract on Monday, and I mean, obviously that has really nothing to do with the rookie minicamp, but I do want to continue to come back to that for at least a couple of seconds here because I think the Mario Edwards signing is actually kind of a big deal. I was looking at our depth chart for the last several weeks, feeling like we needed one more guy, and we got the one more guy on the defensive line. He's not a great guy, but there were no great guys left. except maybe Matt Ioannidis. It depends on your definition of great. But I'm really excited about that. I think that was a needed, necessary pickup. And here's the thing that actually surprised me, the thing that we didn't know about until yesterday. According to Carroll, Cameron Young now weighs about 320 pounds. He was listed at 304 at the combine. And as of the draft, I was under the impression that he was 304. He now apparently weighs 320 something. And again, Cameron Young is a nose tackle. Now, I made a video about a week ago, maybe not even, talking about how you don't see the big, massive, hulking defensive tackles nearly as often anymore. You don't see the 350-pound guys who just clog up the middle as much as you used to, and that we had a couple of really good run defenses last year that got by perfectly fine without having that big guy in the middle. But this is nice. By which I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's something you need. However, if Cameron Young is able to bulk up to about 320 something, maybe even he pushes up to 330, and maintain his relative athleticism and ability to play in space, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not great, but it's usually not great for guys who are over 300 pounds anyway. I mean, that can't be a bad thing. That cannot be a bad thing. And I like it because, frankly, there's a lot resting on the shoulders of Cameron Young right now. He is our starting nose tackle at the moment, and the top candidate to be somebody who could come in and take the load off his shoulders signed with the Jets a few days ago. So Cameron Young, there's a lot resting on his shoulders, so he's got a little more weight now to support that, which I like. One thing that was kind of amusing from training camp, Jonah Tavai was listed as a nose tackle. Now, I don't really know how to feel about that. Jonah Tavai, he's not even 300 pounds. I don't even know if he's 290. I've seen some sources say he's 295, but I don't know. He might be more like 290. Maybe he's 290. So I don't know what to read into that. When I see Tavai, I definitely see a penetrating 3-4 end, but that's kind of interesting. Hopefully it's not an indication that we're desperate for a nose tackle and we're willing to take anybody, even if they're not necessarily fit for the role, because I don't see a nose tackle when I look at Jonah Tavai. Oh, my bad. But they spoke a little bit more about Tavai, saying that they like his instincts and they like his nose for the football. But they did mention that they are kind of looking to... The implication here, if you look at this quote, is that they need to mesh his smaller size and skill set with the position. So are they trying to turn him into a nose tackle even though he's like 290 pounds? That's kind of interesting. I did not see that coming, but that would be an interesting plot twist. Maybe he's the guy instead of Robert Cooper. Pete commented a little bit more about Mario Edwards, said he'll be a big factor for us, which I actually agree with. I actually think that's a significant deal. Carroll also talked a little bit about Jamal Adams and Jordan Brooks. We've gotten good reports on both. Both will continue to train where they are now in Texas while the Seahawks start OTAs next week. Did not mention any ETA. I maintain my suspicion that Jamal will be ready for week 1 and Jordan Brooks won't be ready for maybe the whole year, but hard to know. We've seen reason to believe otherwise on both counts. We also got a little bit of an update about the offensive line. Oluwatimi and Anderson. The Seahawks believe both will push for starting jobs right away. Now, what else would you say? But I can believe it for sure. The interesting thing, I guess, to take away would be that Bradford was working at right guard. Now, that's not shocking. That makes sense, honestly. That's where we might need help. Damian Lewis is good. He played good last year at left guard. Played good at left guard. Phil Haynes is the guy we maybe need to get a little bit better than. Maybe we need to improve that right guard spot. Bradford, that's where he can break through here. So, makes sense. But, hey, if Bradford wants to take that starting right guard spot and let Phil Haynes become like a backup swing guard, the swing guard's not really a thing, but you guys know what I mean. I think that's probably all the better. So I'm very skeptical that Oluwatimi can take Brown's job, but sure. If he does it, then he'll have earned it for sure because he's the rookie and Brown's the veteran. We also got some comments about how Derek Hall bears some resemblance to Frank Clark. and Pete Carroll had positive things to say about him. There's not much at this position he can't do, which I actually agree with. One of the early comments about Derek Hall that some people had was, oh, he's not going to fit in a 3-4. I completely disagree. I think he will fit in a 3-4. I think that there are some concerns with his rawness, maybe, but I saw him do zone drops in college. I saw him play that 3-4 outside linebacker type role in college. I got no concern about that. And Carroll also commented positively about their sixth round safety, Jarek Reed. Nothing too illuminating, nothing too shocking, but Carroll did comment positively about Reed. So that's basically it in terms of the main highlights from yesterday. So we basically just spun around Twitter trying to find all the interesting tidbits of information and all the interesting quotes. And overall, there isn't a lot that a rookie minicamp is going to do to change your mind about anything. If you like somebody and they don't do well at rookie minicamp, you're going to be like, oh, well, it's rookie minicamp. If you don't like somebody and then they do well at rookie minicamp, you're going to probably say, hey, I need to see a lot more before I bite into this. But pretty good, pretty encouraging. I like the fact that we've got two guys on our defensive line that have put on a lot of weight since the combine. I think that's significant. Like I said, we're beyond the days of having 340, 350 pound defensive interior linemen for the most part. But I think it's good to at least have that flexibility, have the ability to throw bigger players on the field at times. So that caught my eye. Charbonnet apparently looked really good and really physical out there for whatever that's worth. I thought Charbonnet got some positive rave reviews from the early action. And that's about it. So I'll see you guys later, maybe later today. Possibly see you on Twitch later tonight. And go Hawks.